To another props video. Gonna be touching on the top prop bets today on both PrizePicks and Underdog. Let's go in and get into it. So we are getting like a lot of sports today, but we're just not getting that many great prop bets today. It's a very tight, limited board. In terms of college basketball on PrizePicks, we can see one really good prop. Okay, that's it. Okay, in terms of NBA, I see two. We got Brook Lopez for over points and rebounds there at 16.5. He is going against the Charlotte Hornets, which have been a matchup that I've been wanting to target this whole year, and that even dates back to last year. I like that. That's a good one. Projection data. I mean, this is pretty crazy. Not only does the projection data really like him to get the over fantasy score, the average sportsbook line does as well. 26, and they're still favoring the over there. And I think the reason being is we see this a lot. Like PJ Washington crushed it yesterday, which was annoying. Yesterday was the regression day that I have been dreading. It's one of those, just real quick on yesterday, like, you know it's going to come. Like, there's no way to have, you guys see the bet hit rate, 71% in 2024. Then you see the 2023 record, 61%. Like, it's 61% is still great, don't get me wrong, but like the 71 that we're at right now, that's going to come down. So yesterday was a typical regression day, but part of the reason specifically for NBA where some of these lines are different is trades have happened, players have shifted to teams. Vegas and the projection data is a little bit different. In some cases there, it's harder to respond to those differences in the role. Okay. And so Trey Mann, I do feel like we are gaining a pretty big edge there because I don't think the data across the industry for betting on NBA or, you know, for the sports books has really caught up to his role. Okay. So I do think that that's going to be a good over fantasy score. But guys, that is like really it in terms of great prop bets that we are getting. I'll show you guys the EV only board right now. And maybe we got some here or there. We got David for over shots on goal. That's decent, but not exactly one I want to go on my way to target. Like, that's okay. Underdog wise, I'll show you guys here real quick. Underdog getting some good EV bets. And like, again, like typically speaking, Underdog is giving us better lines. That's just what's been happening. I'll show you guys the Underdog college basketball board as well. And so looking at it here, we are getting a lot of good fantasy score prop bets. The two that I like the most are going to be these two. Just again, we have four data points going into this. That's not exactly true. We have much more going into that because the average sportsbook line is comprised of like 7 to 10 different sportsbooks pulling in the averages for their lines. But we see this time and time again where there's just huge discrepancies between Underdog and the average sportsbook line. I don't really get why, and typically speaking, the under fantasy score is the one that's being favored. It's weird. I don't really get it. And for the most part, the sportsbooks have been more correct than Underdog. There's been 2 days over the past 2 weeks where Underdog has been correct compared to the sportsbooks, compared to PrizePicks as well, if you will. And that's just naturally going to happen, but it's crazy that we get that big of discrepancies between, you know, Underdog and every other sportsbook. So again, it does seem like we have a pretty good edge there. Like for the bet of the day purposes, this will be it as well. Now I'll show you guys the discrepancies. It's going to be a quick video, guys. I'm doing this video a little bit later. I'll show you guys the reason as to why I did a little bit later in just a second. And discrepancies, we are actually getting a couple of decent ones for League of Legends. I know the esports content kind of lacks on this channel, but at the same time, I don't want to give prop bets where we're not getting a big edge. And I see, you know, really two really good ones that we're getting for map one kills right there. 1.5. Again, it should never be that great of a difference, especially at such a small line like 8 and 9 compared to Underdog 6.5 and 7.5. So those are seemingly going to be good edges there as well. But yeah, I'm not sure how much of my audience likes to do best ball drafts on Underdog. As a lot of you guys probably know by now, I'm pretty big into golf. Half of my website is fantasy golf. The other half is props related content for you. Underdog and PrizePicks, like I just showed you guys. But I did come out with an Underdog's best ball majors cheat sheet. So when you're going through your draft on Underdog, just use this cheat sheet. They'll be able to guide you. And so far through the season-long stuff, Underdog had a season-long contest. That's going pretty well thus far. And so I think this can be a good tool that's going to be included in the 9to5 membership. So real quickly, here's going to be the PrizePicks bet of the day. Again, just taking the two best prop bets that we currently have available. You could toss in Brook Lopez there if you wanted to. But yeah, it's a tight board today. It just kind of is what it is. That is going to be all for today's video. Make sure to give a like and subscribe to the channel. If you guys want access to the tools, head on over to 9to5sports.com. Thank you guys for watching. Let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.